Hello everybody, it's me, HB5, coming at you with my tier list for the Minecraft Championships. Now, I know, probably not exactly the best timing to be making a tier list video, considering everybody's been talking about how tier lists are bad for the community and how we shouldn't do them. But I had this idea ages ago and I'm just really lazy, so I've waited until now to do it. Now, one important thing to note is that it's like, yes, it does say E tier here at the bottom, but that doesn't mean these guys at the bottom are bad. Because instead of doing a tier list for just any old person that joins MCC, like the viewer teams, or like the 10 random people that were in MCC1 that I've never heard of, I've instead decided to take the top of the tier, like the top of the normal tier list, and just stretch it out. So normally these D tier and C tier people, D tier and E tier, in reality they're more like C tier, right? And then C tier and B tier, they're B, A tier is A, and then S tier is the traditional S tier. And then you have like down below the super flat and the bedrock, you'd have like the actual D, E, and F tiers. But I'm trying to be a bit more positive and just focus on the good players, I suppose. I don't want to be overly negative in this video, so I haven't included all of the, like, just for fun players, right? Each of these players has at one point played competitively in MCC, or just done well enough in an MCC to warrant being in the tier list. Okay, so at the bottom we're going to be starting with E tier. So first off, in E tier, we have, actually should go over here, Captain Puffy. I've accidentally just put Wilbur's head on. So Captain Puffy is an inconsistent player, to say the least. She is one of just a handful of players in MCC to have finished both top 10 and bottom 10. In separate events, of course. You can't get multiple individual placements in the same event. That's not how things work. She is a one-time MCC winner in MCC 6, alongside Fruitberries, Bitzel, and Fundy, which was a very impressive win, considering it was Fruitberries and Fundy's first ever event, and by that point Bitzel had only played in MCC 3, and he still only played in MCC 3 and 6. I miss Bitzel. But Captain Puffy is one of the MCC regulars. She's in almost every single MCC. Effectively, her streaming career was kickstarted by MCC. She probably wouldn't be at the levels of popularity she's at today if it weren't for MCC. So, yeah. Next up in E tier is Shovel. Basically another Captain Puffy. Very inconsistent, has won before, has gotten top 10, has gotten bottom 10. Both of these people were good towards the start of MCC, but have recently gotten worse, which is a common trend that you'll see throughout the rest of this video. There are several people who were originally getting top 10s, top 20s, and now aren't. Shovel won both MCC 3 and MCC 5, so a two-time winner there. She has had her moments of being, like, really good, seen in MCC 2 Dodgeball, I believe. But at the same time, as seen in recent MCCs, especially in MCC Season 2, she isn't exactly the most fundamentally skilled Minecraft player. Next up in E tier we have the Manifold. Bit cruel putting him down here, considering he did just finish second on his team and win Dodgeball. Well, no, lose Dodgeball to Dream and Sam now. It's like, to be honest, nobody's going to beat them at Dodgeball. He finished 23rd individually. Pretty impressive considering it was only his second event. Yeah, he has surprised quite a lot of people with how solid of a player he's been. It was a bit of a meme that he was banned from MCC because he said no to subbing in MCC 3, which is why we ended up actually having Bitzel, who you'll see later. But yeah, Jack Manifold, solid player. And next up at E tier is CubFan135. Yes, I know. Who is this guy that doesn't look like he's 70 years old? I know, it's CubFan. I'm still not used to it myself. He changed his skin for Hermitcraft Season 8. He changed his entire branding. But he's down here in E tier. He is a parkour player, he is a build mart player, he's a bingo player. PvP, not so great. He has won before, specifically in MCC 10, alongside False Symmetry, Smallish Beans, and Pizza Hut. Yeah, he has his moments, and in fact that one phrase is pretty much going to define all of E tier, which is they are decent, they aren't the best, but they have their moments. Another hermit who has their moments is Pearlescent Moon, one of the two newest hermits, or joint newest, and the newest hermit to be in MCC, both in terms of when they joined Hermitcraft and when they joined MCC. She's a solid hole-in-the-wall player, entirely due to fundamental skill and absolutely nothing to do with being from Australia and having incredibly high ping. She has never won MCC, but she has actually lost Dodgeball twice. So she's one of just a few players to have lost Dodgeball but not won Dodgeball. Losing both MCC 12 and MCC Pride 2021. 5 up. He's new. He did alright. Enough said. Korean. okay, but in all seriousness, 5 up. He practices a lot for MCC. He puts in the effort. I know that he wants to do really well. He got a below average placement in MCC 15, finishing around just below 20th, I believe. In fact, I think it was 24th that he got. No, it was 26th. But if you finish in the top 30, that pretty much means you're an above average MCC player, considering that we've had more for fun players than we have had more competitive players. Okay, now on to Green for real. There's another hermit, alongside Pearlescent Moon and CubFan135. He is another player to have lost Dodgeball but not won it, specifically in MCC 13. He lost on the Purple Penguins team, alongside Kara Corvus and 2 other people. I'm a very professional YouTuber here. I know all of the stats. He lost to the Teal Turkeys, consisting of Krinios, Puns, Illumina, and... he's got some nice shades there. Like I said, very professional. Eret is a 2-time MCC winner, having won both MCC 7 on the Green Guardians and MCC 13 on that Teal Turkeys team that absolutely robbed Green. Just kidding, I like Puns and Illumina, they're great. Eret is not the best MCC player of all time, he's not the worst. In fact, if you took out of all the players that still currently play in MCC, I think he's the 40th. So if you did do an MCC of the 40 players with the highest averages, you know, excluding people like JC the Costa, the Professor, or Florian Funk that like haven't played in ages, he would be the lowest average person in that MCC. Just something interesting. And this is the part where I realised that I was meant to put Captain Puppy here. So I suppose these three people are gonna end up down at the bottom. But these tiers aren't ordered. When we get to S tier, and A tier, they are ordered. But down here, it was just sort of, how do I fit these people in? Because I know they're good, and they deserve to be on the tier list. But where do I just put them? Right. Next up, Michael McChill. Another one of those players where he used to be really great. Nowadays, not exactly the best player. He did actually just win though. And he is a 3-time MCC winner, which is certainly something, right? I think the only other 3-time winners I can think of are like Pete, H-Bomb, Scott Smager, Dream, somehow, even though he's played in like half the number of events as Captain Sparkles has. But yeah, Michael McChill, 3-time winner, is not exactly something to be underestimated. He has gotten both top and bottom 10 before. I mean, pretty much anybody that's gotten both top and bottom 10 you are going to see in this tier. There are a couple others that you'll see actually being put high up, but that's because they're usually more top 10, like more closer to top 10 than they are close to bottom 10. Right, next up, Dan TDM. He was on the Coral Carolers team that I really like. I haven't even seen their VOD though, but like whenever I'm messing around making MCC teams, I usually end up putting Dan, Wisp, Kratzy, and Sapnap together. And then afterwards I realise, oh wait, no, that's just the Coral Carolers from MCC 13, the team that almost won but got screwed over by a Game 8 build bot. So sad. And the last one, the person that I hinted at the start when I accidentally bore his player head, Wilbersoot. The man who looks like a bird has done their business in his hair. Now that I've mentioned it, you're not going to be able to unsee that. I am truly sorry for that image. Wilbersoot, top 10 in the last MCC, bottom 10 in the MCC before that. He's gotten bottom 10 before. He's not got top 10 before, which is something pretty cool. Usually, around 20 to 30 individual placement. Not the best, not the worst. He has his moments, just like everybody else in this purple area. And with that wraps up E tier. So moving on to D tier. Now, starting off in E tier, we have King Burren with his interesting player head. That's how I would describe it. At least it's certainly something. King Burren is a 2-time MCC winner, having won both MCC 1 and MCC 8, both of which he was on a team with Mr. Michael McChill. Burren has a higher average than Michael. He is more consistent than Michael, and overall, he has more moments than Michael McChill of just being cracked, which is why I put him in D tier. Because no offense, Michael McChill, if you're watching this. Michael McChill's never going to watch my videos, but King Burren is just a better version of Michael McChill. It's just a fact. You can't deny that. Next up, we have Solidarity Gaming with his slime head from Empire's SMP. You see, when I did this, I just took people's most recent player heads, so we're going to end up... So, like, you can see that 5UP still has his player head from MCC 15 on. Some of these later on are going to get a bit weird with some of the skins they're wearing. Solidarity Gaming is a one-time MCC winner who won MCC 14. He did also win MCC Jingle Jam, but winning MCC Jingle Jam, I just came up with a really offensive joke, but I'm gonna try to not get myself cancelled on my first video on this channel, so yeah, I'm gonna not say that. Solidarity. He has his moments. He has more moments than the people in E tier. He has gotten both top 10 and bottom 10. You know, the same routine. I've said it like 4 or 5 times at this point already. You don't need to hear it again. Next up in D tier, My Guy Rocky. What is up with his eyes? Okay. My Guy Rocky. One-time MCC winner, one-time MCC Pride winner. Pretty cool. He is a dodge bolt god, having the best dodge bolt stats of anybody to ever play in MCC. He has a 100% dodge rate, apparently. This man has apparently, like, just 100% dodge rate. Never been hit. Even though he has actually been hit before in MCC Pride. But in MCC 2, which was the only canon MCC that he's been in dodge bolt, he was never hit. And fun fact, in both of the MCCs he has played in, well, both of the dodge bolts he's played in, he was the one to make the winning shot. And then he had literally the exact same celebration where he just, like, sticks his hands up into the air, and he shouts, and it's like, ah! Yeah. Interesting fellow, My Guy Rocky. Next up we have False Symmetry. Another hermit, like Cub Fan, Pearlescent Moon, and Korea. She has the title of the first ever person to be a back-to-back winner. And the second person to be a back-to-back winner, Josh Not Found. Both of them, decent players, not the best. They've done well enough in the past. I think George Not Found has gotten the top 10 before. False Symmetry has not, but she's gotten pretty damn close on multiple occasions. But both of them in recent MCCs, not too great. And next up, another one of the hunters from Minecraft Manhunt, Antfrost. MCC 15 debutant. Him and 5UP, they really impressed me in my bit. Because we've seen before where we get players that are on the practice server and they practice a lot, and everyone's like, oh, they're going to be so great when it comes to the actual MCC. So, like, we've had that with Niachu, we had that with Skeppy, we had that with Bad Boy Halo, we had that with probably several other people that I'm just completely forgetting. But Antfrost and 5UP, or more so Antfrost, less so 5UP, actually managed to convert that hype around them into actually being good. Wow. I mean, it really shouldn't be something surprising. It's like, oh, if they're good on the practice server, they'll be good in the actual event. It's like, that seemed like an obvious thing, but it's not. In fact, there are more cases of them absolutely having a stinker than actually doing well. Ranboo has been waiting to be an MCC for a very long time. In fact, one of his earliest videos was him playing on a Parkour Warrior fan recreation. Naughty Ranboo should have waited until MCC Island, which wasn't even announced at that point. Just like the other two, he grinded the practice server a lot. but less so than these two. There was a lot of hype surrounding him, and in my opinion, I didn't think he would live up to the hype. I personally predicted he would finish 24th. I was right in one of those digits. That's certainly something. But he lived up to the hype, and he did pretty well. Shame his team sort of bottled it at the end. He would have done a Carl Jacobs and win MCC on their first attempt. Except unlike Carl Jacobs, he wasn't actually carried. Next up is Flip. Last night when I was like creating the player heads to put in these shulker boxes, I saw Flips, and I genuinely created this guy's head like 5 times, because like I thought, has it just taken the texture from his like teal hoodie? I know it hasn't. I guess this is a spoiler for some upcoming video of his, but like it doesn't look right. Flip, top 10 and bottom 10 player. He's one of the 2 best. I think Flip and Ranbu, you could very easily make a case for them to be like at the bottom of the C tier here. But I've chosen to put them down here because I just think the players in the tier above are just a little bit better. Flip he's an odd one. He's good at build 'em up, and theoretically that should be it, right? But he somehow just randomly does well sometimes. And I don't get it. He's a weird one, that Fail Whip. However, despite being named Fail Whip, he managed to turn that Fail Whip name into Success Whip. Haha. In MCC 7 alongside Eret. Get it? Success Whip? Because he won Dodgebot. Right? Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video for interactions so that it boosts my channel. Oh yes, and we have one bonus player in D tier. Somebody who is probably never going to play in MCC again. It is HB5. Haha, I bet you are wondering what's this black border doing here when he doesn't have a black border on this side. It's like, boom, this is for the players that don't really play in MCC anymore, but I wanted to put them in the tier list anyway because I like them. HB5, one of the better MCC players to have only played in one MCC. He played in MCC 5, and he got 17th individual. So sort of similar to what Ranbu and Antfrost got, just a little lower. Similar to George Not Found, what he usually gets. What Solidarity and Burren sometimes get, and what Ryguy Rookie used to get, because Ryguy, he got 2 top 10s and then he slowly started like declining. Iscal showed up to MCC 5, did well, got put on a team with Grian for MCC 6, didn't show up, got replaced with Pearlescent Moon. Awkward transition because I'm editing this and everything is messed up and I can't be bothered to fix it properly because this is just a second channel video. Yay! Sparkles. Captain Sparkles. Mr. Third Place. They call him 007. 0 wins. 0 first individuals. 7 rounds of dodgeball lost. Is a sad story, this Captain Sparkles. He just can't get himself a win. You could probably show up to his house and point a gun at his head or something. and he still wouldn't win. Don't do that. That's illegal. Actually, the United States is like an anarchist place at this point, so I don't even know what's legal over there. Anyway, he just can't seem to win. Like, he's had teams where it's like, okay, they're literally handing it to him at this point. Like, I think MCC 13, he was on a team with Dream, Shubble, and Scott, and they finished third. MCC 12, he was with Dream, Michael McChill, and Spivey. Less so a good team, but still pretty decent. Anyway, next up is Wisp, who's won once. He joined MCC at the same time as Puns and Illumina, but unlike Puns and Illumina, he hasn't really lived up much to the hype. He's sort of an average player, usually when he plays. He won MCC 14. He almost won MCC 13. He's decent at PvP, but not much else from what I've seen. And then next up we have Martin, also known as In the Littlewood. That's right, I was copying his intro there. That was a joke that only some of you would have gotten if you watch In the Littlewood. He's finished both top 10 and he's finished bottom 10. He hasn't won, but he did win Jingle Jam. And yes, I know, I said with Solidarity Gaming down here, it's like, oh, Jingle Jam doesn't count. But that's because Solidarity won MCC 14. In the case of Martin, Jingle Jam means something more, because it's the only time he's actually won. Because he lost MCC Pride Dodgeball. How cool would it have been if Martin won MCC Pride 2021, and then it just, like, he wins both the non-canon MCCs, and he just can't win a canon MCC. And next up we have Smallish Beans, very similar player to Martin, in terms of skill level, not in terms of their better games. I'm pretty sure, like, he's a build mart man. I don't think Martin is a build mart man. Smallish Beans won in MCC 10 alongside False Symmetry and Cupang 135, which, very impressive win. I don't think many people would have been saying they would win, but they did. And that's certainly something to be applauded. Smallish Beans is a decent player. Like, the same thing with Martin and with Fwip, and I think with Solidarity, and with, who else here? Wilbur, and with Michael McChill, and with Captain Puffy, and with Shubble, where it's like, yep, he's gotten top 10 and bottom 10. Woo. At this point, it's basically, say the line HB5, top 10 and bottom 10. Yay! It's like that Simpsons meme. Next up is CPK. Finally got top 10. Finally got top 10 in MCC 15. I mean, it took him absolutely ages to get there. He hasn't finished bottom 10, so I don't have to say the line. As far as I'm aware, he joined at MCC 2, and he missed MCC 10. So he's played in 13 canon MCCs. He also played in MCC Pride 2021 on the Cyan Creepers, alongside Muzelk, Laserbeam, and some other fella. Like I said, very professional here. I suppose you could make an argument for Krinios to be, like, below Smallish Beans or Martin, given his recent performances. Well, actually, it's just his one recent performance where he really did not do well. Like, MCC 15, he finished 28th. MCC 11, he did finish 23rd. And MCC 13, on the Teal Turkeys, alongside, where is this guy? Eret, he did win, finally, after, like, on his 10th MCC. which is pretty cool. Oh, what's this? New challenger approaching time, if I can be bothered to put that sound effect. It's another one of the bonus players. Oh, this is such a hype moment. It's Bitzel. Because Bitzel has said that he's not in the MCC Discord anymore and is no longer able to sign up to MCCs. But he will try to be in All-Stars, and Scott wants him to be in All-Stars because he has won and he deserves to be in All-Stars. If he isn't in All-Stars, we riot. Bittel is a good player, 50% win rate, which is pretty cool. I think there's only one. I think Carl Jacobs at this point is the only other person with a 50% win rate, and Carl Jacobs didn't make the tier list. So that shows something about Carl Jacobs that is not true for Bitzel. Bitzel is a very good player. Yeah. God, I've roasted. I think that's like the third time this video that I've just roasted Carl Jacobs for no reason. Wow. I shall hope the camera, like the replay mod camera, got that. I climbed up the scaffolding, I opened the shulker box, and it pushed me off because the shulker box expanded to be more than just one block. Now we are up to the B tier. In reality, this is more like low A tier in actual MCCs. But yeah, here we're calling it B tier because it's sort of weird to call it SS, triple S, and then SS, and then S, and then ABC, which would be like more accurate to actual MCCs, but like, or I suppose just like, and you don't want like tiers of like, because in reality like these, like D tier would probably be split between C and E here, and then like A tier would actually be split between S and B, but like you don't want these really large tiers, like you want smaller ones. And yes, I know this one has 11 people in it, but there's been 106 people who have played in canon MCCs. Yeah. First up in B tier, TBN Preston Plays. He's, I mean, actually it was very hyped to see him in MCC. I certainly wasn't expecting it. Like, I know a lot of rumors were going around as Preston's going to be in MCC, and I imagine like they had some base to them. Because he probably said something about MCC at some point, but like, I was pretty surprised when I saw him. To be honest, I thought he just became like a Roblox YouTuber, but no, he isn't. He still makes Minecraft videos about Minecraft mods. It's like Minecraft, but YouTubers are blank. So like Withers or Bows. So he's a Minecraft butt YouTuber. Well, we're not here to talk about their content. We're here to talk about them in MCC, and he did very well. He did sort of get screwed over by game order, I think. He finished 12th individually. Next up, Scott's Major, with his elf ears from his Empire skin. It looks it's just sort of unsettling when you're looking at it from the side. I imagine like if you're looking at it from the front, which is where I'm going to put the replay mod camera, it just looks like normal Scott's Major, but I don't. Yeah, Preston has the ears as well from his blue bat skin. If I didn't type Snatch Game Rule full damage false when I was setting up this world, I would have probably died by this point. The Scott's Major, he has won 3 MCCs before, MCC 2, MCC 5, and MCC 14. So pretty decent player. I'm gonna say the line again. He has his moments. Yeah, he does. And next up we have Tommy in it. the same with Scott Smitchy, he has his moments. Sometimes he does really well, he gets top 10, and sometimes he doesn't. He has won once before in MCC 4 on the famous or infamous, depending on what way you look at it, the Purple Pandas team alongside Wilbur Soot, who is down there with the bird poo in his hair. Yeah, big man Tommy. He's pretty good, that's why he's up here in B tier. Next up we have Mefs. Pretty good player as well. Didn't do so well in MCC 13, which was his most recent MCC appearance. Also didn't do so well in MCC 9. And next up we have HB5's, the highest up person on the tier list here to have not won an MCC, because he's only played in 4 MCCs, but he's done really well. He's on the practice server a lot, and his most recent individual placement was 14th, which is pretty good. And in my opinion, next time he plays, he'll get top 10, because he's just cracked. And then we have Tubbo, who, oh no, actually Tubbo's the highest up person who hasn't won. All 3 of these people here below me haven't won. Tubbo, he's played in 6 MCCs. His first, fun fact, his first 4 MCCs were very similar to HB5's first 4 MCCs in terms of like individual placements. And then in Tubbo's 5th MCC, he got top 10, so I imagine that's HB5's going to do the same because he actually practices. Finally, we have Phil's on Minecraft, Ambassador of Men, Father of Crows, and other titles that people have given him for some reason. He's a 2-time MCC winner, having won both MCC 4 and MCC 12, both times, teamed with Mr. Birdpoo down here. He's pretty good. He's a Rocket Spleef man. He hasn't done that well in MCC Season 2, as far as I'm aware. Like 15th and 22nd, actually 2 of his worst performances statistically. But in MCC Pride, yeah, he did actually perform pretty well in MCC Pride. He got a lot of coins despite having only played 1 game. He did finish 37th though. Just goes to show that he is in fact an old man. Anyway, that concludes that tier. And now we are up to A tier, where we have the really great players that like are very close to S tier, but not quite. Starting off with Fundy. Yeah, I do put him down here. Fundy, pretty good player. Everybody, once we're in these 2 tiers, everybody here is like consistently top 10. Fundy is probably like the least consistent out of these top 2 tiers. And next up we have Vicstar123. You can't see me right now because I don't have a face cam, but I was saluting. I was saluting there. Vicstar. Up until MCC 14, I believe he had the 6th highest average coin total. And he was actually very close to overtaking Dream in terms of average coins. But then Dream had his MCC 15 performance, which sort of blew Vicstar out the water. But like, it's like, yes, Vicstar statistically should be like the 7th highest now, and probably should be up at the top here, but you know, MCC 14 he didn't do that great. Next up, Kratzy and H-Bomb will do the same, 2 of them at the same time. Consistent top 10 players. Kratzy's won once, Vic has won once, and H-Bomb has won more than once, and I can't be bothered to count right now because I've already been recording for 40 minutes. Actually, it's 45 now. It might end up being an hour, like a 50-minute, probably an hour-long video. I was hoping it would be a 15-minute long video. Anyway, H-Bomb, solid player, very good known for his teamwork. has won several times before. I'm not going to count his MCC 15 score because he only played in the last 4 games, but it was still very good. Tapple, in my opinion, he's sort of overhyped. He's sort of inconsistent. A lot of people are like, oh, he's like probably the next person to be S tier. It's like, no, he's probably like third, or actually more like Kratzy and H1 are probably more likely to become S tier before Tapple does. But yeah, he's won once, which was MCC 12, his only time in Dodgeball in a canon MCC. Puns and Illumina, they joined at the same time in MCC 12, then they won MCC 13 together. And they've both shown that they are cracked, and they are, in my opinion, you could easily make a case for them to be up here in S tier. They are actually very good players. Oh, what's this? The sound effect that I'm not actually going to put in the video because I'm too lazy to. Oh god, I've just fallen all the way down there. I'm having a nightmare here. It's Calvin, who has AirPods in on his Minecraft skin, but only on his left ear for some reason. It's just sort of weird. He doesn't play in MCC anymore. I know, like, he made a whole twit longer on his Twitter about it. It's like, why I don't play in MCC anymore. Except the entire twit longer was literally just, I just don't sign up. Lamau. He's a great player. He would probably be a consistent top 10 if he played again. I've just done the thing where I push myself in the shulker box again. God. But overall, Calvin, solid MCC player. Now we have S tier, where we have 5 S tiers. The 5th S tier is Dream. And also Sapnap. Sapnap's in 4th. They've won MCC 11 and MCC 15 together. Sapnap, in my opinion, has shown himself to be a bit better, more consistent than Dream has. They're both cracked at the game and could easily kick my ass if I were ever in MCC, which I'm probably never going to be. I'm never going to be in MCC. You don't get your hopes up, my loyal audience. I will never be in a. Actually, hold on. If I stand here, right, or if I'm going off. Like I literally just said I wanted to cut this video shorter soon, but like I'm going on tangents like these. It's like if I stand here, then boom, it looks like I'm another one of the player heads on the wall. And look, Mom, I'm an S tier. I'm a good MCC player now. Anyway, next up we have Fruit Berries, another one of the green gods. He's won twice, MCC 6 and 9. Nice. The Blue Bats, he's pretty cracked. I'm not going to go into as much detail about the S tiers because overall, pretty much all I'm going to say is they're pretty cracked because they are good at practically everything. Next up, we have Quig, who luckily put his sunglasses on because MCC 15 he was playing without his sunglasses. And let me tell you, you don't want to see Quig without his sunglasses. It's just weird. Finally, the best MCC player of all time, Pizza Hut. It still has his orange ocelot skin on. Pizza Hut is the best MCC player of all time. He has never finished below top 5. Well, technically MCC, I suppose technically MCC 15, but I'm not going to count. I don't count that because Comcast destroyed him. I suppose you could make an argument which, like, oh, if he did continue to play in MCC 15, he probably might not have gotten top 5, which I think is dumb because he definitely would have. I've just realised that I can crouch underneath the player heads, and I didn't actually have to jump off when I wanted to go around the other side for the Mom, I'm an S tier guy. Anyway, you're probably thinking, but there's one person you're missing. It's like, nope, I didn't miss them. New challenger approaching sound effect. God, this is the 4th time I've made that joke. I'm probably just going to have to put in the sound effect now, which is going to be a pain in the ass. Technoblade, who Scott has said is not coming back to MCC. Well, the canon ones at least. He's Charity and All Stars. He'll probably be there. But, like, yeah, that concludes the tier list. 52-minute long video.